the freedom of a focused life of simplicity. Acts chapter 13 verse 2 and 3 says, as they ministered to the Lord and fasted, the Holy Spirit said, now separate to me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them. Then having fasted and prayed and laid hands on them, they sent them away. Now why I'm choosing this story is because the call to do gospel work, or the call to do God's work, is a one of simplicity. You know, when it came to them being ready, they had to get into that mindset of living a simple life. And why I say this, or why we're talking about focusing on simplicity, is that they were now at a point where they said, listen, I am willing to trust you, Lord. I am willing to depend on you. And that's what fasting and praying is about. And this is something I'm encouraging you as we partake in these 10 days of prayer, that you understand that there is blessing in simplicity. The story is told of the late, great Kobe Bryant. And I believe he was a sports analyst or a sports writer. He said that he wanted to go and watch Kobe work out in the gym. And so Kobe said, yeah, sure, you can come. And so he goes and he watches Kobe. And as Kobe is training for a good 45 minutes to an hour, he's observing that Kobe is literally just doing basic movements, you know, the basic drills, the basic handles, the basic footwork, you know, and he was kind of confused. It's like, why is he doing this? Kobe's the best player in the world. Like, why is he putting so much emphasis on these basic drills? Even young kids do this. When we're teaching kids basketball, this is the stuff that they do, and they learn and they practice. And so after he had finished working out, he goes up to Kobe and he said, listen, Kobe, you're the best player in the world, man. I'm seeing you, your workout is it's pretty basic. You're just doing basic movements. And then Kobe responded and said, why do you think I'm the best player in the world? Because it is by focusing on the basics and even mastering and perfecting it, he is able to have an edge over everybody else. Because one thing that people don't realize is that in order for you to be successful, especially in, I'm talking about for example, sports, and this is applied to life, sometimes, or most of the times rather, the best way for you to get an edge is by simply doing the simple things well. Notice that the key to salvation is in simplicity. Believe. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him. When it comes to God using you, notice that it's in simplicity that we need to trust him. You know, one thing about when we trust in God, when we depend on him, we actually experience freedom. Notice that we always worry about things because we are usually it's because we complicate things. We are worrying about certain details and not necessarily looking at the bigger picture. It's almost like a song. You know, I'm someone that arranges music, and I remember when I used to sing with people, and they used to ask me how do I work or get these complicated harmonies and everything. But I always say, and I've always learned this from one of my favorite groups, Take 6, they always say that, listen, the melody is king. And if anybody that knows music, the melody is probably the simplest thing you could learn when it comes to music. Without the melody, there is no song. Without faith, you cannot please God. Without believing in him, you cannot truly, fully experience salvation. And so let's use this time to really embrace the freedom of simplicity, because there is so much blessing when we understand that the gospel is rooted in simplicity.